Hey everyone, Paul from Grindhouse Funhouse. How's it going? It's been a while. Today I want to talk to you about an event that happens here once a year in Montreal, and it is the Ciné Bazar. So last Saturday, 9 a.m. sharp, I was at Centre du Plateau, which is like 15 minutes away from my house here in the Plateau in Montreal, for the 12th edition of the Ciné Bazar put up by Media Film. It's a gathering of sellers and collectors of anything cinema related. It's pretty much, I think, around like 50 plus sellers, and you got like DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS, posters, magazines, vinyl soundtracks, toys. For me and pretty much a lot of people I know, it is like Christmas, New Year's, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all rolled up into one. And this was my 5th year going, and I plan on going till pretty much I meet my maker. One of the cool things about it is since there's a lot of sellers, there's a lot of specific people selling specific genres. So a lot of people like selling selling action movies, comedies, what have you. And I get to knock off a lot of stuff on my want list. You know, titles that have been on my list for like a long ass time, and this year was no different. I got a few titles I'll be showing to you that I was like, oh yes, got this one. I finally got this one. My buddy and fellow YouTuber Francis Lavoie was here for it as well. He drove down from Ontario for his very first Ciné Bazar, and if you want to see his experience, go check him out at his YouTube channel. I'll leave a link down below in the description. He got some really interesting titles, stuff I was pretty jealous about, and yeah, you'll get to see his experience. So without further ado, let's start this up with the DVDs I picked up. All right, so first title I picked up was Daryl, which stands for Data Analyzing Robot Youth Lifeform. This is one of those titles that's been so long on my want list, and it's a movie that's probably never going to be released on Blu-ray because it's released by Paramount. Paramount are very slow when it comes to releases on Blu-ray, and this is a movie I remember watching quite a lot as a child back here. So I want to see if it's as good as I remember from back in the day. So it's pretty much an army experiment, a robot kid that ends up in a foster family, and then wackiness ensues. It's I don't want to say it's a kid's movie, but you know, it's a bit higher than this. But it's about like AI intelligence, and that was back in like 1985. So I can't wait to see what it's like back then, what they thought of it back then as opposed to now in 2019. But Mary Beth Hurt is in this, Michael McKean. I believe the kid's name was Barrett Oliver. I don't think he's done much since then. But yeah, Daryl, can't wait to watch it. Up next, it's an Anchor Bay title, which I'm finding fewer and fewer of, and it's Night Patrol. It's a comedy. There's a quote by Joe Bob's Brigg on the back, which says, "You've got to see this one, the second best uncontrollable farting movie in drive-in history." So right there, that's a winner. It's directed by Jackie Kong. Who the hell is that? I do not know, but it's starring Linda Blair. So Linda Blair in a comedy. We'll see what it's about. Hopefully it's good. Up next, Deal of the Century. It's I believe it came out in the early 80s, 1983. It's directed by William Friedkin of you know, The Exorcist and plenty other movies, The French Connection. It's a movie about arms dealing, and I believe it is a comedy, and it's a movie with Chevy Chase I haven't seen or heard of. This is like literally the first time I've heard about this movie. I saw it was $2. I said, you know what, why not? Gregory Hines is in this, Sigourney Weaver. I'll give it a whirl. I'm sure it's pretty good. Up next, it is Jungle Ground, a 1995 action movie. I was starring Roddy Piper, of course. I love Roddy Piper. They Live, John Carpenter classic movie. Hell Comes to Frogtown, another weird ass movie, but he makes it work somehow because, you know, it's the Piper. This movie looks a lot like 1993's Judgment Night, where, like, you know, people go in the wrong side of town and all hell breaks loose. This was where I saw this on Explosive Action, the channel. He specializes in like action movies and Asian movies, and this is one of the picks from his last video. And when I saw it, it's like, yes, I must see this. And it's from 1995, so a lot of those movies there's a lot of titles I want to bone up on. And Jungle Ground, that looks like a good one. Up next, it's a 4 action-packed movie marathon from Shout Factory. Right here, you got Bulletproof, Bamboo Gods, and Iron Man, Track Down, and Scorchy. I picked this up for Bamboo Gods and Iron Man. Sorry, it's a blaxploitation movie from I believe it is from 1974. So that for this one, and of course Scorchy, which I believe is been released on it's a Scorpion release or Code Red. I think it's Scorpion, but it stars Connie Stevens as like a badass woman, like an undercover agent. It looks ridiculous, and I very much want to see it. And of course, there's a Gary Busey movie, Bulletproof. No clue what that is, but you know, I might give it a chance. And then last on the DVDs that I bought is Hitman, What You Gonna Do? Another blaxploitation title. This one is from 1972, starring Bernie Casey, and one of the first role from Pam Grier. She's actually billed here as Pamela Grier. She is hot as hell in this movie, and it's George Armitage that directed this, and he did Grosse Point Blank with John Cusack in the 90s. It's really, really good. It's one of the better ones I've seen in that genre. The title track, the title song of this is amazing, and there's not a soundtrack of this anywhere. It's never been released. CDs, vinyl, tapes, 8-tracks. You could like get it ripped on YouTube, but if someone's listening somehow, some record label that, I mean, hell, get on this, release this soundtrack. It is amazing. But yeah, Bernie Casey was pretty badass back in the day, and it's sort of a, I don't want to say a remake, it's a first take on Get Carter, the movie with Michael Caine, and then regrettably in the 90s Sylvester Stallone. But yeah, Hitman, check it out. It's from the Warner Archive collection. Hopefully a Blu-ray is coming soon. So yeah, that's it for the DVDs. On to the Blu-rays. All right, when it comes to Blu-rays, I got some really good titles. I got a few Code Reds, some Shout Factory, and it's Code Red and Shout Factory. So there you go. The first up is The Black Gestapo, or Ghetto Warriors. It is a blaxploitation movie from 1972. No, it's 1974, and it's pretty much a gang of black men in Watts, California, forming a squad of some sort just to protect people in their area. And it stars Charlie Robinson from Night Court back in the 80s, if you've seen him. Clearly one of his early role. It looks really cool, really a bit effed up, but can't wait to see it. And it is number 8 from Code Red, so Black Gestapo. Up next, it is Hide and Go Shriek. It is a late 80s slasher movie. Actually, it's from 1987. It seems to be a lot of unknowns, at least unknown to me, but when I saw it, I just wanted to check it out. And since I got it for such a cheap price, I got it for like $15, so it's okay. And actually, one of the actors, and that's what I when I saw the title, I said, oh, I should see that one. One of the actors is on a soap opera. I can't recall his name right now, but he started following me on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'll check your movie out. This is number 92 in the Code Red line. Up next, a Scream Factory double feature. It is H.G. Wells' Empire of the Ants and Jaws of Satan. Those are like animals gone wild movies from the 70s. Ants that will eat and kill everything. Tiny little ants, I'm sure. And Jaws of Satan is a movie about dog racing, apparently. And there's a snake expert. So all kinds of animals in these movies. I have no idea what they're about, but I love those kind of movies. So why not give it a shot? Up next, it is Eve of Destruction, starring Gregory Hines. I believe it is like another robot being created by the army, but goes on some sort of killing spree, and Gregory Hines is there to capture her, the Eve of this title or the movie. Again, I looked at the trailer and it looked pretty okay. I don't want to say good yet, so but yeah, Eve of Destruction. And then finally a Shout Factory release. I believe it came out last year, and it is Never Too Young to Die, starring some early work from John Stamos. This came out in 1986. It stars also Vanity, may she rest in peace. Also Gene Simmons from Kiss as a like he plays the bad guy in this one, and a really weird one at that, I remember. And Robert Englund's in this. So and George Lazenby. Who can forget George Lazenby, of course. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one a whirl, see if it's any good. So Never Too Young to Die. All right, this is it for Blu-rays. Now to my massive stack of VHS. All right, so my stack of VHS is pretty high, and usually I always wait till Ciné Bazar to really get the titles I want, because there's a good chance I might find the only released on VHS titles I'm looking for, because I don't want to pay like $30 on eBay or Amazon. And some of those I've only paid like $5 or $10 for the the only on VHS one. And I got, I believe, 5 titles right now I'm going to show you right now. And here we go. First up being is Eternal Evil, which is a movie that was shot right here in Montreal, directed by Georges Mihalka, and you might know him as the director of My Bloody Valentine, classic slasher movie. This one stars Karen Black, weird, dark Karen Black, Winston Reckert, which was a Kenyan TV actor from the 80s and 90s. I think he was on Street Legal or something. And Lois Maxwell, of James Bond fan. This movie is like a astral projection movie. So basically the main guy, Winston, sees like projections of things, and Karen Black is there to help him deal with that stuff. I actually saw this a couple years ago at the Fantasia Film Festival, and George Mihalka was there to present it. He likes the movie enough. so he said. It's an okay movie. It's not the best in the world, but the fact that it's only been released on VHS is worthy of being bought. And it's kind of cool seeing like Place Ville-Marie is one of the main buildings in the movie. So every time I would see it, I worked nearby it, so I was like, oh, there was in this movie. So, and it was released by Lightning Video, which is a good pick. So yeah, Eternal Evil, only on VHS. Up next, another only on VHS title. It is Defense Play, and I will tell you the story. What started as a child's play into a high-tech nightmare for 2 teens-age kids. David Oliver and Susan Ursiti from Teen Wolf, who become the victim of a Soviet scheme to steal important US technology. It's high-flying warfare, and only they can stop the sabotage of their enemies. Don't stop them first. I don't know what it seems like an okay movie. Don't know the people in there. It almost feels like a war game type movie. Movie back in the day cost $79.95 to own, which is fucking crazy. But yeah, it was on my list, saw it, and picked it up. Might do a review for it. Up next, an early 90s movie starring Drew Barrymore in her bad girl phase, and it is No Place to Hide, starring Chris Christopherson, Drew Barrymore, Martin Landau. This movie is barely talked about, and I could see why, because I saw the trailer. It's one of those like woman in peril movies, and I doubt it's ever gonna get a release either on DVD or Blu-ray. It is a Canon video release, which right there, you know, I'm all up in there. I'll definitely do a review for this one. It looks cheesy as hell, and I'm very much interested to watch it, and I will do so in a very shortly. Up next, it is a French movie, Hold Up, starring Jean-Paul Belmondo. It's actually set in Montreal. This was released back in 1980, I want to say 85 or 86. But yeah, it's pretty much Jean-Paul right here setting up a burglary, and he's trying to escape the city, but somehow the city won't let him. It's just one misadventure after another. And if it sounds sort of a familiar story, Bill Murray did a movie called Quick Change back in 1990, which was a remake of this movie. So yeah, this is the French original, as it were, but Quick Change is one of my all-time favorite movies. And I remember seeing this one as a kid, so I want to see it back again, see if it's still any good. So yeah, Jean-Paul Belmondo, Hold Up. And the last movie that's you know, only been released on VHS, it's a comedy. It's titled Paramedics. It stars Ray Walston, George Newbern, Christopher McDonald. It's one of those almost border, I want to say like Police Academy type movies. It could be a good thing. I don't know. It was released by Vestron. I doubt they'll release it on their Blu-ray line anytime soon. But yeah, I'm gonna give this one a whirl. You know, why not? Paramedics. So that's it for the only released on VHS. I got some other ones, and they were really cheap, probably like 25 cents to $1. So if they suck or I never watched them, it's no big loss. First up is The Ultimate Weapon, starring Hulk Hogan. This came out 1999, I believe, and this was shot right here in Montreal as well, because I just see the credits and there's like Andrea Canyon, and Andrea Canyon is in charge of a lot of casting. She casts a lot of movies, especially extras and stuff. Hulk Hogan plays Ben Cutter, a mercenary who's been double-crossed in arms dealing, and then wackiness ensues. Look at this artwork. It's terrible. I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch it, but you know, for 25 cents, why not? Up next, some Burt Reynolds in a movie called Pups, directed by Ash. This looks like Ash. Actually, this came out in 1999. Hyperkinetic, adrenal, perceptive, a Bonnie and Clyde for the MTV generation. Pup is an explosive action thriller. Is it now? Is it? We'll find out. Maybe, maybe not. But Pups, here we go. Up next is a TV movie Wes Craven did in the mid-80s, starring Susan Lucci, Joanna Cassidy, and Robert Ulrich. Invitation to Hell. This looks pretty cheesy and good, and it's Wes Craven doing a TV movie. Yes, please. Came out in 1984. I don't know why I've never heard about this movie. Have you heard about this movie? So I'm very curious to see it. And there you go, Invitations to Hell. Up next, it's In the Cold of the Night, a Nico Mastorakis film. This just came out last month from Vinegar Syndrome as one of their most beautiful Blu-rays, I'm sure. But from this artwork, it looks really cheesy. I only really realized after I bought this that actually Vinegar Syndrome's released this. Could be interesting. I might get the Vinegar Syndrome release instead of watching this, but it's kind of fun to have this in my collection. And then finally, this is something I never knew of, but did you know that there was a cartoon about Rambo in the mid-90s? There were 65 episodes of this series. So I found 3 tapes. I know there's a release on DVD from Lionsgate, but I'm never gonna get that. But I did get this, Rambo the Rescue is one of the tapes. I believe there's like 4 or 5 episodes all mashed up into one. It's called Rambo the Force of Freedom. And it's none of the actors on the movie obviously did the voices, but you know, I've watched a few clips on YouTube and it looks looks pretty good. I mean, it's something I might check out, a couple episodes. And here we go. The last one was Rambo: Children for Peace. And, you know, for a buck each, why not? Rambo as a cartoon. All right, that's it for the VHSs. So that's it for my Ciné Bazar 2019 loot. Expect more Ciné Bazar lootuses, is that even a word? In the future, because I will go back and make more videos, and I will buy more movies. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram. I'm at Grindhouse Funhouse, where I post on the daily. Were you at Ciné Bazar? Leave me a kind word down below in the comments, and we'll talk about it. Thanks for watching. More videos to come. School is almost over, so I'll spend more time on this channel. Be well, and you'll see me again really soon.